Welcome to today's episode of Talks with Don, episode 4, entitled The Simp, the Jezebel, and Triangulation. Today we're going to discuss men who have no self-respect for themselves and women with Jezebel spirits who use these men, and triangulation, which is when women pit two men against each other just for attention, validation, and resources. But first, we want to pour some libations for the ancestors. This is for the ones who came before us, who used their voices to help raise the vibration of the collective. Ashe. This is for the ancestors who use their voices to help us or are no longer here due to the powers that be. We will continue to raise the vibration of the collective. Ashe, 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 ashe. First, we want to get into some music by yours truly. The track is entitled The Process by Don the Issa, yours truly. Saying goes then one that seeks his own level. You was attracted to ice on the bezel. The key to the door is that life's about levels. This is a tale about angels and devils. When you got the gift, what's a lotus, the petals? God say protected, it's potent, it's special. They come for the gift, try to run with the gift. Inherently, you must be one with the gift. You cannot take it, it's encoded through time. Protection of craft must be molded like iron. Here you go, son, just hold it, it's mine. To cipher from chosen and spiritual crime. Infinity stones and songs I came to collect. Sunshine is bright, but rain is so wet. Hear the calling, I had to be alone. The casualty of wrongs, the rarity of stones. Flawless, diamonds, sapphires, rubies. Sometimes it feels like a duty. Missing the signal can become spooky. Never know the hour to be bestowed with the power. If you go through the fire, come out cleaning in the shower. 7:20 is the time that I picked up the day. Pass this test, get the crown. You gonna be great. Don't be late. I won't be late. You were talking to someone that owns estates. To discover myself, I had to be myself as a youth. Had to call on recruits to many soldiers to fit in the coop. If you were never alone, how can you hear your calling? Dark night of the soul, visions of people's hands falling. The gift that we discuss, you can't touch it or see it. You must be careful of energy leeches. Learn to discern the finicky speeches. The ones that get it, get it. If you hit a still, motherfucker, just beat it. hour to be bestowed with the power. If you go through the fire, come out cleaner in the shower. You never know the hour to be bestowed with the power. If you go through the fire, come out cleaning in the shower. Break these chains, break these chains, break these chains. It's time for the fire squad, y'all. Getting one must go inside. Everything we need is inside, as above, so is below. I say. Thank you to the pieces that were necessary for character development. Like I said, that's entitled The Process by Don Lisa, yours truly. So let's go ahead and get into the topic of the day, the simp, the Jezebel, and triangulation. First and foremost, young fellas, a simp is a man that doesn't respect himself, a weak man who usually has mommy issues and places the validation, sex, and females and relationships above himself and his self-respect and the pursuit of betterment of himself. So the Jezebel is basically the same thing as a narcissist, someone that is self-absorbed and uses men to her advantage to siphon energy, one, and resources. But energy is the most valuable resource as it is. So the first topic that I want to talk about, only weak men can be taken advantage of by the Jezebel spirit. A man that doesn't know himself is acceptable to being taken advantage of by a woman with the Jezebel spirit. And this young man, he's an acquaintance of mine. We no longer are acquainted, but like my grandfather always said, let other people's mistakes be your stepping stones. So the only way that you navigate through this life is if you look at situations and look at them from a higher perspective. Unfortunately, this guy was not on a spiritual journey, so he did not see what was being going on and that he was being taken advantage of and energy was being siphoned from his spirit. I tried to tell him, but I don't know if he learned. I don't know if he ever will, but I learned from watching him, and I'm going to use that situation to help other young men so they won't go through what he went through and is probably still going through. At some point in your life as a man, the betterment of your own life and the betterment of your mental, spiritual, and physical health should be the top priority to you. If you never make that the top priority, you may never make it to the levels that you're supposed to unlock in life. So he had mommy issues, and this is why this young man allowed women to take advantage of him and always put himself in last place. These people were co-workers. The young woman with the Jezebel spirit, that's the topic of this video, she was going through a bad breakup with her first love or whatever. She's early 20s. The guy, he's a lot older than her. So he thinks that him playing the friend is an easy way to get in, but in turn it ended up manipulating him and her siphoning his energy and heightening and crushing his self-esteem to where she could feel good about ruining his self-esteem. So there's going to be a couple scenarios in this video where I take it from a higher perspective and show how him not having respect for himself and her wanting to crush this guy's self-esteem siphoned his energy and could potentially, put his life at risk. So young men, always be aware. Self-preservation is the first rule of life. So the first mistake that this young man made is when she was grieving over her breakup of her previous boyfriend, he had moved on to a new woman. She told the young man that was an acquaintance of mine, go follow her Instagram. Tell me what she doing. Tell me what they doing. What she got that I don't got. Just trauma dumping on the young man that was an acquaintance of mine on the phone. And young men, never allow a woman to siphon your energy through phone conversation unless that is your wife or a longtime girlfriend that you know is eventually going to be your wife. Because unfortunately, men that conversate with women on the phone, they're always going to be placed in the friend zone and she's never going to take you seriously. So his first mistake was listening to this woman spying on her ex-boyfriend's new girlfriend from Instagram and reporting it back to the young woman that's his co-worker. And I told him she would never take him seriously. That was his first mistake. So all the guys at the job are competing for the affection of this young woman. And she doesn't really want to take any of these guys seriously because she's still grieving over her ex-boyfriend. But she will accept the attention though. And these are the type of situations that can get young men in life-altering situations. And that is triangulation. She's using the validation of men and them wanting her to siphon energy, validate herself, and make herself look good in front of other females at their job. But this is a dangerous situation. I would always tell my acquaintance, hey, leave that situation alone. Somebody's going to end up getting in a fight or somebody might end up, whatever. But once again, he didn't want to listen. And the situation came to a head. So that's the first situation where he showed her that he had no respect for himself. So we would all go out. He started inviting me to go out with them because he was scared that he was going to get beat up or harmed by some of these other young men that wanted her affection. So he knows I'm brolic. I work out. So he wanted to show the guys, man, I got somebody that can protect me if y'all ever try to come at me for how I'm trying to pursue this young woman. And you got to watch out for men like that that'll try to bring their homeboys into a situation and have the advantage over the other men because of the homeboys. And I saw what was going on and I told him what was going on, but he didn't want to listen. So we would all go out and yes, the young man that was my acquaintance and his female co-worker, they were close on a friendship level, but that friendship level made her not respect him. Yes, he wanted to sleep with her, but she looked at him as weak, low, and down to the ground. So she was just using the lure of sex to keep him on a hook to get what she wanted. And he couldn't see it. So we would all go out bowling. We would go to this bar. I'm not going to say the bar because I want to keep all parties safe that's involved. And there was another guy competing for the same woman. I won't say his name, but he took a more direct approach into the situation. He's buying food for her, holding the door, making sure she gets home safe. So she got these two guys competing for her, and they know they competing for her, and it got so sick After the bar would close, we would all stand around and conversate, and they wouldn't even want to leave and go home themselves for fear of the next one getting an advantage with the female. And so we would go do this. I think we did it maybe like a month straight. The co-workers would meet. Everybody knew it was what, would mix, mingle with each other, have fun. Some guys fell off the wagon from the job, but it ended up being these two guys competing for it on a regular basis. One, he kind of had the advantage because he came direct. So the situation came to a head. The girl had a birthday party, and she invited a lot of people from the job. I was invited. So some of the young acquaintances of mine, some of his friends were invited. And so he was also trying to pull all of us in to make himself look better as in the win the competition for the woman. And it was sick, just sick, disgusting, very disgusting how he was simping over this young woman. So it came to a head on this girl's birthday weekend. He had got a room thinking he was going to score with the woman. And all the parties involved from the job thought that, yeah, he had a chance of doing it. But this is where, are you plugged into the wrong CPU, and being plugged into too many different energies can affect you. Unbeknownst to him, his energy was going a lot of ways. So a lot of people had different energy projected toward him over this young woman, and this is a dangerous situation. So when they saw that he potentially could have won this young woman, they said little slick things to her, unbeknownst to him, to keep him from scoring or whatever. We're just going to keep it PG. And at the party, he looked like so much of a fool. She had mind control over both of these men that were competing over her. They all were dressed like cowboys or cowgirls, like a Western type of thing. So the three of them were all dressed alike. So I told the young woman, I'm like, oh, I see you got your boyfriends dressed alike. And she just laughed. So she knew what she was doing. She knew she was stringing these guys along with no promise or of what they really wanted. And they couldn't see it. So I told the young guy that's my acquaintance that I have been friends with, man, you don't see what's going on? This woman got mind control over both of y'all. So after they left the club, he took her back to the hotel room because he didn't want to drive because they were all drunk. So she told him, oh, don't such and such. I had you lose your gig. And he tried to throw somebody else under the bus, but his self-esteem was heightened. The situation was ruined. And he, in that moment, saw what this young woman truly was. And if he sees this, I hope that, he wakes up. I'm doing this out of love for the young men, so young men do not get sucked in by the Jezebel spirit and lose everything they work for. Unfortunately, he could have lost everything he worked for if he would have made advances of the female, but I'm glad he didn't. But I'm saying that to say this: the Jezebel spirit is one that preys on weak men that have no respect for themselves, and they value sex before anything. So you have to learn as a man to control your sexual urges, because if you don't, some Jezebel spirit woman is going to come in and try to siphon your energy. And I don't hang with the young guy anymore, and I'm glad I don't, because I don't want to be involved in any dangerous situations, because of his mishaps, we have been involved in some situations behind him not wanting to take responsibility for what he's doing and behind different females. So, young men, watch out for people that will put you in situations unbeknownst to you to gain the advantage of a female. One, to make themselves look better at your expense. Two, and just they think that everything is a competition, everything is a win and a loss. To some degree, life is operated like a game, but if you never get yourself and develop self-preservation and putting mind, body, and spirit and the betterment of yourself first, you're always going to lose at life. And unfortunately, this young man, he's still operating at the lowest level he can operate at. For the spiritual people, that's your root chakra. He operating, all I want to please is have self-pleasure or have pleasure. And unfortunately, those things are keeping him at a level to where he can't grow, because it's affecting his finances, it's affecting his growth mentally, it's affecting his growth spiritually. The woman is not so much more the culprit. At some point in life, we have to take accountability for our own actions. And as a man, if you never master self-control, you may never make it to the points in life that you want. And for my young men that are listening to this situation, I want y'all to realize the woman with the Jezebel spirit that was his co-worker never planned on sleeping with either one of these guys. She was just using the triangulation factor and the competition factor to get, one, attention, free meals, drinks, free rides, and experiences out of these guys. So the lesson that I want young men to take from this: one, being in the friend zone with women is never going to work out in your favor. You're always going to lose, one, your energy, your time, and your resources. And this is not to bash women or bash men or bash anybody. I'm doing this so men, young men in particular, can learn. Self-preservation is first. When you get to the point where you master yourself and you master your own energy and harness your own energy, everything will flow in the direction that you need it to flow in. But first, you have to master self-control. Sometimes I don't think a lot of people want to sit down and do that, but I do this out of love, and I hope this situation can help some young man realize what's going on and how to better himself. If you never sit down and better yourself, you will not make it to the next level in life. Let's take a sip for the ancestors. I do this with love. Let's continue to raise the vibration of the collective. Thank you for listening. Like, share, and subscribe.